There is a passage in the Bible so strange that for centuries translators tried to soften it. Just 4 verses describing beings that came down from heaven, took human wives, and fathered a race of giants. The Bible calls them the sons of God. An older book gives them another name, the Watchers. This is their entire story: who they were, what they taught mankind, and how it ended in the greatest catastrophe the world has ever known. By the end, you'll understand why Scripture says so little, and why one forbidden book says so much. Genesis chapter 6 opens quietly. When men began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took as their wives any they chose. The Hebrew calls them B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of God. And the children born from these unions, the text names the Nephilim, the fallen ones. The mighty men of old, men of renown. And then Genesis moves on, as if refusing to explain. But another ancient text does explain, in terrifying detail. That text is the Book of Enoch, not found in most Bibles today, yet quoted by the earliest believers and preserved for thousands of years. According to Enoch, there were 200 of them, angels, watchers, assigned to observe humanity from the heavens. But watching became wanting. Led by a figure named Semjaza, they gathered on the peak of Mount Hermon, and each one swore a binding oath, so that no single angel could turn back. And then, together, they descended. What they did next changed the world. The Watchers did not only take wives, they taught. One named Azazel taught men to forge blades and shields, the tools of war. He taught women the secrets of paint and adornment. Others revealed sorcery, the cutting of roots, the reading of the stars, the signs of the sun and moon. Knowledge that was never meant for human hands, poured out all at once. And humanity, the texts say, was not made better by it, but darker. Then came their children, the Nephilim, giants. Beings neither fully human nor fully angelic. Enoch describes them devouring everything humanity could produce until men could no longer sustain them. And when the food ran out, the giants turned on the people themselves. The earth filled with violence. Blood cried out from the ground. Creation itself, the text says, began to groan under the weight of what the Watchers had unleashed. But heaven was watching too. Four archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, looked down on the ruin. And carried the cry of the earth before God. And a man was chosen to deliver the verdict. Not an angel, a man. Enoch, the one who Genesis says walked with God, and was not, for God took him. Enoch was sent back to the watchers. To speak a judgment they could not escape. The sentence was total. Azazel, their leader, was bound hand and foot and cast into darkness beneath the earth, to await the day of judgment. The watchers were imprisoned, and their children, the giants, were made to war against one another. Until they destroyed themselves. But the corruption they left behind had spread too far, and so the final judgment fell. Not fire, but water. The flood. The world was washed clean, and only one family, the family of Noah, was carried through. So why does Genesis tell us so little when the Book of Enoch tells us so much? For centuries, that question has divided scholars and believers. The Book of Enoch was never accepted into most biblical canons, yet the New Testament book of Jude quotes it directly, by name. Whatever you believe about these texts, one thing is clear: the writers of Scripture knew this story, and they treated it not as a myth, but as a warning, about knowledge without wisdom, about power that descends and the ruin it leaves behind. If this story gave you chills, you're not alone. It has haunted readers for thousands of years. Subscribe, because next we're uncovering the mystery of Melchizedek, the priest with no beginning and no end. Until then, keep asking the questions no one else will.